Brando the Weed Commando here, back at it. I'm going to talk about that censorship one more time. Um, so the censorship is going to get a lot worse very soon. It seems like it's becoming more acceptable. More people are saying it's okay. More people are given that line that it's okay because it's the corporations doing it. They're private companies. They can have whoever they want on their platform or whatever. Well, I'm sorry to inform those people that keep saying that, but the platform is not Twitter, it's not Facebook, it's not Instagram, it's not YouTube. The platform is the internet. And those places I just named are what you call the public square. The internet is like a city full of different things and commerce and government sites and all these other things. And then you have these what we call social media sites, and they are essentially there for a public forum for people to talk. Um, Now, mainstream media doesn't like that because it offers a chance to rebuke their stories or critique the way they're reporting them, and to call out their biases. And if they, before it was just a one-way communication. You had the TV, the guy on the TV or whatever was telling you what was going on, and you had no choice but to believe it, or you didn't have any alternative source of information to tell you that something different was going on, unless it was another mainstream media source on the other side of the political spectrum, essentially telling you their version of the story. And when you look at what they're really trying to convey as a message, they're conveying away from the actual message and trying to, you know, corral people into a bubble where they can have a body of consensus. And that's the whole basis of what's going on the internet today with the censorship and the propaganda. Propaganda is put out in the form of stories, and you have comment sections. Well, the comment sections are full of people pushing back against the narrative. And when that happens, the only way that they had to confront that problem was to create troll farms, bots, have paid actors run these things, and basically what has been called by others manufacturing consensus. And what that is when you go to the comment section to contest the official narrative, you have all these people in there rooting for the official narrative and saying how true it is and beating down anybody that has anything to say. So the internet is the forum. The social media companies are, you know, the town square where people talk and give their opinions and have. That's where the free speech is. There's no free speech outside of that. I mean, you can go out, you can go run a hall and advertise and have a bunch of people come and talk about something. There's many ways you can have a forum and you can get your word out. But this has been this has evolved into what it was since the internet was born. Even before these social media sites came along, there was other ways that people communicated and shared ideas freely. Because that's not what the internet is meant to be. The internet is not a curated kiosk. It's not supposed to be a curated kiosk like when you go to the mall and everything you need to know is there, and it's all static, and there's no pushing back against the ideas. I mean, all you got to do is just go on Twitter without an actual account or a brand new account, and you don't follow anybody, and just see what they're trying to show you, or open up your Google recommended news articles. I mean, when you do that, you'll discover that your phone is listening to you, and maybe even reading your mind, and targeting you with ads that relate to things that you might have said or been talking about lately or interested in. All these companies that are selling your data are the ones censoring people. So, you know, the internet's not supposed to be this kiosk where everything's just, hey, this is what it is, and there's no alternatives. The internet is supposed to be an open forum for the sharing of ideas to expand the human consciousness, not this thing where they tell you what it is and have 100 trolls in the comment section acting silly about it and acting like you're crazy if you don't believe it and all this other stuff. And this has been going on for a while, so we've seen this kind of, you know, manufacturing consensus being done before it was deemed a problem on social media. It was like, you know, celebrities that questioned 9/11 were lampooned by the mainstream media. Like you had Charlie Sheen and Rosie O'Donnell. And that's just the kind of way that they control the flow of information, is they focus on people that are willing to, you know, step outside their comfort zone and their social circles that they're in to be able to talk about certain things. And that's what they don't like. They don't like it when people do that, and that's why people are getting censored, because they're exposing what's going on with the real corporate takeover of everything. You know, this agenda that's been rolled out through governments and media, this agenda that's been, you know, idealized and by these control groups like the Bilderberg Group, the Bohemian Grove meetings. You know, you got the World Economic Forum. All these groups have been around for a long time. Like the World Economic Forum's been around about 50 years. Grove about over 100 years. Council on Foreign Relations 100 years. These people have been around for a long time. And if they were trying to do something good for the world, where's the evidence that anything that they ever planned or said that it was going to be, you know, that they got together in their meetings and they were going to roll out some big agenda? When did it ever benefit humanity? When did whatever they were doing ever help anybody? You know, like, so they're trying their hardest to conceal their agenda while bragging about it and telling everybody about it. I'm talking about the Great Reset and the New World Order taking shape right in front of your face, with the World Economic Forum admitting or bragging about it, whatever you want to call it, when they bragged about how, you know, it's not just leaders like Macron, but it's also the fact that they have majorities in a lot of Congresses in many countries. And them majorities, or them amount of countries with majorities, all that's going to keep increasing because they have the money to spend on these candidates. And quite frankly, you know, when you're in these races, the candidates are always, you know, they always use the same smear tactics against the other people, and that's the same ways that they're getting people censored and kicked off the internet. At first, it was just, you know, the Alex Jones. Well, let's go back even farther. At first, it was somebody that was really speaking out against the New World Order's agenda and offering solutions and creating a solution to combat misinformation and to get out real information about what the agenda was, with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. He was censored in 2012 when Venmo, PayPal, and a bunch of other, you know, pay the revenue streams that would support WikiLeaks and Julian Assange were cut off. And then you had, we're just going to go really quick over these again. You had Alex Jones getting censored because, you know, his so-called conspiracy theories about crisis actors and other weird things that happened during Sandy Hook. All of a sudden, suppose, you know, got a bunch of people harassing people on the ground, and so we have to kick him off the internet because he's getting people harassed, and, you know, it's just, all right. And then you had Trump getting kicked off the internet, a sitting president getting banned from Twitter, and then all the other social media, you know, followed suit. For what? I mean, we're talking about banning people for bad behavior now. Now, with this Andrew Tate situation, I did actually look more into that. So the guy, some people might think he's a bad guy because I guess he hit a woman with a belt. So that's pretty bad. That's a crime, I think. Pretty sure that's a crime everywhere I've ever been. So that could be addressed legally and not, oh, we're going to kick him off the internet for this. Because we don't do that. I mean, we had football players, they just dragging their wives through uh, elevators. They're still on the internet. We got Bill Clinton going to the Epstein Island dozens of times, and in the jet, the Lolita Express. He knowingly cheated on his wife. That's misogyny. Everything I just said. Misogyny, pedophilia, rape, all that shit. He's still on the internet. Um, there's so many cases, and this might be a whataboutism, but it's because the reason that Bill Clinton is still there and Andrew Tate's not is because Bill Clinton is part of the World Economic Forum agenda, and Andrew Tate is speaking out against it. And so is Alex Jones. So is Donald Trump, even though one might argue he's unwittingly a part of the agenda, seeing how he rolled out this warp speed vaccine crap and all this other stuff he was involved with while he was president. So, then well, even Julian Assange, I mean, he was speaking out against, at the time, the war crimes of George W. Bush, and he was going out against the American empire on many fronts. I mean, that's not the only thing he was focused on, but that's what got him censored the first time, and then on the run, for the last over 10 years. And now he's looking at getting extradited to a U.S. prison where they'll probably torture him to death before he even gets to trial. So this censorship is going to get way worse. It's already to the point where if you're not already established on the internet and you try to get established now, you're going to just end up in a bubble with just very curated information being fed to you by very connected to the, elitists who control this whole agenda. And it's not like they're like sinister or anything. They're all just career climbers that think they're doing the right thing. And I can get into more of why that is with just talking about the propaganda that goes along with the censorship. But the propaganda is so bad right now. I mean, you literally can't even believe anything that's on the TV anymore after what we just seen over the last 2 years. And you should already know that the big pharma industry is only, it's there to use the citizenry of the United States as cash cows. And in that end, they are giving you all kinds of diseases, and they run the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. So if they can control how bad the food is, and then they can have more customers on their medicine. And big pharma was just invented to make money. That's it. There's no cures. It's all stuff to keep you sicker and give you side effects, so you need more drugs. And basically, if I'm painting a picture, you can see that they just destroyed a lot of people's immune systems. And this is what the propaganda. Most people don't even know this. Most people think that the things that they're giving people for the thing is good and works, even though that there's studies coming out now that say 10 days after you get it, you're more contagious than someone who never had it. So you gotta just get out of the loop of all these mainstream media sources first and foremost. And me, how did I do it? I haven't done it yet. I deleted my Twitter after getting about 3 accounts suspended permanently. I deleted it because I'm like, it's getting to the point even on Twitter where you can't parse out who is real and who's not real, what information is real or what's not. And then you got the headlines where they give you just enough to tease you into opening the article, but when you look at the headline, it could be very misleading, and most of the times is just part of the misinformation. And you see it they're doing it everywhere. They're doing it with anything that might empower the regular everyday person. Like with crypto, there's all these constant articles coming out to scare you into not buying it this at this time, or hey, go buy these coins right now. And they got actors out there that help push their propaganda. I'm not going to name any names, but I'm sure some people know who I'm talking about. There's a lot of them anyway, but there's one in particular that they use for pretty much every psyop. And we got to just, I'm getting to the point where I want to start talking to people in my actual real life about some of this stuff without the worry that we're going to not be friends anymore. Because I think people have seen enough over the last couple of years that they're receptive to alternative sources of information and actually doing research, which is, quite frankly, to go from somebody that just sits on the couch and watches CNN to doing somebody that just opens up their computer or phone every day and just tries to research and figure out what's going on in the world. That's a huge transition. It's not something that happens quickly. But if you look at any of the sources that you think you trust, you don't trust them. You're talking about TV. They're pushing pure propaganda nonstop. That's all they're doing now. There's almost little. The only time they report a real story is to try to scare some politician into being corrupt. And I'm not going to explain that. You can probably think about it and realize what I'm talking about. But it's just insane the way that you can't, even if a story is about something real, every paragraph in there is designed to make you believe something else about it. And that's the problem right now, is propaganda in tandem with the censorship is making the dissemination of information real sketchy right now. And the bad actors that they're trying to delete off the internet all the time are just people trying to tell you what's actually happening. And I'm sure if I keep doing it, I'm gonna get zapped too. Small account, pretty much a nobody cares. They'll quickly delete me for the stupidest of things. And I'm gonna be kind of careful since I'm on YouTube, but I think I am gonna start an account on something else just to maybe, who knows. I mean, I'm probably gonna have to grow again here if I start talking about stuff besides weed videos. Not that I'm a real small channel anyway, so I don't think it really matters. But I think if I start a new channel, some other platform that lets you basically say what you want, maybe I'll have the same amount of followers eventually. Who knows? But the thing is my days on YouTube are probably limited. YouTube started censoring a long time ago, back in like 2008 or 9. I don't even know when it happened, but back during the 9/11 truth era, from like 2006 to 2010, there was a lot of people, questioning the official narrative, and a lot of people getting censored, and in different ways than now, because they didn't really have the mechanisms in place. They didn't know what was going on. It was still kind of the wild, wild west, but they still had their troll armies to try to manufacture the consensus and stuff like that. But for the most part, we had this feature that they got rid of a long time ago. It was called the video reply button. And you basically just hit the button and make a video reply, and the video reply goes down on a bar right under the video. And if a bunch of people made them, there'd be a bunch of them, and then they'd be ranked by how many likes they got, and the one with the most like would be the one on the first on the left there. It was a pretty cool feature, and it got people talking, and that's what they don't want. They don't want us talking to each other. They want the information to go straight to you and nothing else happens. Or maybe at the very most, you do talk to the people in your immediate circle who got the same information, and you just reinforce it. And we'll talk about all this in a video I'm about to make, when I make a video about this divide and conquer, about how they got everybody in bubbles and reinforcing your beliefs that are not actually real, and making sure that you have some ammo to throw at the people that don't fall in line or whatever. So we'll talk about that on that video. But right now, I think I'm going to wrap this up. And I just want to say again that the censorship, it's real. It's everywhere on the internet. You can't avoid it. Um, it's going to get a lot worse. We've seen when, for example, when the Hunter Biden laptop story broke right before the election, people were getting censored left and right over that. People got censored. Doctors and scientists got deleted off the internet for, you know, talking about anything other than the official narrative, or things that are now considered, factual. Duh, of course that's true, like the Wuhan lab leak, and just all kinds of things concerning masks, lockdowns, and vaccines that before were getting people deleted off the internet for, and now, not so much. You don't even, in many cases, you could say stuff that got people deleted a year ago, and you won't even get one of those little tags on your video. So who knows how this video will get treated and the rest of them going forward. But that's all I got for today, or right now. I'm just gonna make videos freely whenever I feel like it or get a chance to. So that's all I got now. Just fight back against the censorship in your own ways by trying to spread as much information as you can to people in your comfort zone, I guess. But like I said, it's hard to talk to people in your real life, on the ground world about things, because you need to breadcrumb them in. You can't just drop bombs on them about things that you've been studying for years. And it's like, when people question where you get your information and how do you know this and how come you trust your sources, it's not about that. You tell them, this is something that's very important to know what's going on in. So you look into who's involved, you look into the motives, you follow the money, you do all the basic research steps to figure out exactly what the agenda and purpose of the thing is. You don't just turn the TV on and maybe turn the channel a couple times and get a couple different pundits' opinions about something and think that you did some research or you know what's going on. I guarantee you don't know what's going on if that's how you get your information about the world. But that's it. All right, trying to keep this short. Have a good one. Bye.